A couple days ago, I made a poll saying that which exotic armor would you like to see a build on first, and most of you wanted to see the Titan first. So for this video, we're going to be doing that. If you guys like to see a build on the new exotic for the Hunter or Warlock, as soon as you're seeing this video, a poll will be live. So as soon as you're done watching this video, be sure to check out the poll. So without wasting your time, let's head to this Bonk Hammer Titan build. All right, as what many people know what this exotic does, it's basically you tossing your hammer and recalling it exactly like Thor in the Marvel movies. But in order for you to do that, you're going to need to activate the buff for this gauntlet called Forge Master. You can either do two things. One, whenever you collect a fire sprite, or two, whenever you get 3 rapid solar final blows, it will give you the buff Forge Master. So when it comes to the rapid kills, as what you're going to see here, I'm going to get 1 kill, 2 kills, and 3 kills. As what you see on the left side, I have Forge Master. So it can be 3 or more rapid kills with solar weapons. And what's really nice is that the easiest way for you to activate Forge Master is by you collecting a fire sprite. And in order for you to collect a fire sprite, you're going to do a few things. One, we are using this exotic rocket launcher called the Dragon's Breath. And the second method is in the seasonal artifacts called Elemental Coalescence. Defeating targets has a set chance to create an elemental pickup matching your equipped super. And I already know you guys are saying that you don't have the level right now to get this seasonal artifact. Don't worry, all you will need is either Dragon's Breath or by having this mod on your weapon called Synergy. So final blows will have a set chance to give you an elemental pickup. Basically, this is a solar weapon, so you're going to be getting a fire sprite. So if you see here, as I'm getting kills, I will have a set chance right here to give me that fire sprite. That set chance is what you saw right there, but as soon as I pick it up, I'm going to get Forge Master on the left side of the screen. I also want to let you guys know that when you're activating your Forge Master, either collecting a fire sprite or getting those rapid solar kills, as what you see from my melee ability, it is recharging extremely slow. So what you're going to have to do is, again, either collect a fire sprite or get those rapid kills. And as what you saw on the bottom left of the screen, my melee ability recharged extremely fast. Now that we have the Forge Master, all you would have to do is activate your Bonk Hammer to yeet it from existence. Once you do, you'll see the hammer fly in midair. Once it's in midair, you'll hear like a little dink noise to it. Once you hear that little dink noise, or you see that flashing glow towards the hammer, that is a perfect recall that will extend your timer for your Forge Master up to 3 seconds. And you could also be able to collect more fire sprites and also get those solar rapid kills to extend the timer as well. And the timer for the Forge Master will last up to 12 seconds. There's also another thing I forgot to mention about the Forge Master. What's really cool is that basically you can just toss your hammer. Once you're ready to recall it, it can hit any enemy that's coming back to you with your hammer. So let me try it again. Hopefully I can get another hit with it. And boom, that enemy died as the hammer was recalling it back to me, which is pretty awesome. So now you know what the Milos Panoplia does. Let's head to the Sunbreaker Titan subclass. For your super, you could choose any super you like, but in my personal opinion, I would like to go for Hammer of Soul just to tie it to one of our aspects called Soul Invictus. Your solar ability final blows, Hammer of Soul impacts, that is the super we are using, and also defeating scorched targets will create a sunspot. While you are in a sunspot, your abilities regenerate faster and your super drains more slowly while you're standing in a sunspot. Also too, your sunspots will apply scorch and deal damage to targets inside. Entering a sunspot also applies restoration. This is the main source of survivability for this build. So for the solar ability, again with your Bonk Hammer, it will spawn in that sunspot. You go into it, it will grant you restoration. The next aspect I went with is Roaring Flames to increase the damage for my Bonk Hammer. And in order for you to activate this, all you would have to do is get solar ability final blows or ignitions, and it would increase the damage of your solar abilities up to 3 stacks. So we're mainly going to be using our Bonk Hammer, so we're going to be getting 1 bonk right there, another bonk right there, and hopefully I can find it, there it is, and another bonk right there as we activate the Forge Master. Hopefully once we do, your melee will regen because I forgot to pick it up. You toss your melee, you pick it up, call it back, toss your melee, recall it back, rinse and repeat. That's all you have to do basically. For your solar grenade, you can choose any grenade you like, but for me, I went with healing grenade just for more of a survivability. And for the solar melee, you're gonna have to go for throwing hammer because if you're not using this build wouldn't even work. And also too, whenever you collect your throwing hammer, it will grant you cure, which will give you a burst of healing. Let's head to the fragments. There's gonna be 4 in total. The first fragment you're gonna want to go for is Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and your nearby allies radiant. While you are radiant, it will increase your weapon damage up to 20%. The second fragment you're going to want to go for is Ember of Ashes, mainly due to stacking it with Dragon's Breath. So you apply more Scorch stacks to targets, so we're going to be getting ignitions more often for the Dragon's Breath or any other effects that apply Scorch. The third fragment, be sure to go for Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Again, I am tying this to the Dragon's Breath. The final fragment, be sure to go for is Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration for restoration and radiant effects apply to you. So for restoration, we're going to be getting it by Soul Invictus and also Healing Grenade if you are using that grenade. And for radiant, we are getting it from Ember of Torches and also the seasonal artifacts as well, but mainly due to Ember of Torches. The exotic I went with for this build is Dragon's Breath, mainly due to giving us even more fire sprites to proc the buff Forge Master. So in order for you to generate fire sprites, you're going to want to get the catalyst for Dragon's Breath because it would, one, replenish your fuel faster, and whenever you defeat targets with this weapon, it will cause them to generate fire sprites. And also two, when igniting enemies with this rocket launcher, it would also give you fuel. And as what you see on the bottom left of the screen called Composite Propellant ×5. Once it's at ×5, you're going to want to ADS and hit the farthest target as possible, because once you do, it's going to create those trails of fire, and as that's doing that, it's going to tick for damage and it's going to kill them. And as what you see there, look at all those fire sprites. 1, 2, 3, 4 fire sprites for me to collect. Yummy. And once it reaches ×5 again for the composite propellant, it will automatically reload your weapon from reserves. So let's try it on a big dude. Once we hit him, we're not going to reload our weapon. We're just going to let it sit. And as what you're seeing there, it's causing those ignitions, and boom, ×5, and we got it back again. We can shoot him, run around like crazy while we get the ×5 again. Boom, automatically reloaded. That's basically what you would do for this rocket launcher when it comes to dealing damage with a big boss. But if you do want to generate those fire sprites, be sure to do what I did before when it comes to dealing with those red bar enemies. The primary weapon I went with this build is a solar machine gun called Callus Mini Tool. I do want to let you guys know, you do not have to put this SMG if you don't have it. Any solar SMG that has either incandescent or that new perk called Burning Ambition would work for this build. But I mainly put this SMG due to the origin trait called To Excess. Final blows with this weapon while you have your super that is full will grant you bonus melee and grenade stat for a moderate duration. So as what you see, my super is full. Now we gotta wait for the enemies to spawn. Once I do, pay attention on the bottom left of the screen. As what you see there, I get 11 seconds of 2 excess. This will give me plus 20 melee and plus 20 grenade stat boost. So now we basically have 142 melee stats, because for the melee stat, it would, one, reduce your melee cooldown and increase the amount of melee energy from all sources. So our main goal is to try to boost our melee stat all the way up to 200, because the higher stat you go, whenever you reach beyond 100, it would increase your melee damage. So in PvE, at the current state that I have right now is 6%, but if you do have it at 200%, it would give you 30% increase in damage. For the kinetic weapon, I went with this stasis sidearm called the Tanasha's Mastery, mainly due to this perk called Chill Clip, because as you're hitting enemies with the top half of the magazine, it will emit slowing effects to that target. Because I am tying this sidearm to this seasonal artifact called Cauterized Darkness. Stasis or strand debuffed non-boss combatants take increased solar damage from all sources. When they say by all sources, they really mean by all sources. All right, I just want to show you guys proof that I do not have Cauterized Darkness activated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him to activate the slowness just to break a shield. I'm going to do it again. As we see here, I did 574 to the knee. All right, so I'm going to reactivate Cauterized Darkness. I'm going to go back out and pay attention to the damage number. So I'm going to proc the slowness effect. I'm going to hit his leg, and it is now a crit, 746. Yes, you heard that right. A crit for a bonk hammer, which is pretty crazy, and it was on the leg. I did try it on the helmet to get that helmet crit, but I noticed that it doesn't really work. So it's only anywhere in the body, as long as it's not a boss. I currently don't have all of the artifacts, but I would recommend you were to run these last two artifacts and also the ones that you're seeing on screen as well. For the last two, the first one, you're going to want to go for Elemental Overdrive, that when you're picking up an Elemental pickup, it will increase your damage of the weapons of the same element type. So we're collecting a fire sprite that is solar. So we're going to be increasing our damage for our Dragon's Breath and with our primary solar weapon. And the next one, go for Radiant Shrapnel. Dealing sustained damage while radiant or defeating a Scorched Combatant with a weapon will cause the target to release solar projectiles that deal damage and scorch on impact. All right, let's head to the armor mods. You can freely copy all of these armor mods if you like, but if these armor mods don't fit with your playstyle, you can freely change them as you please. Starting with the helmet. For the first mod, I am using Thermodynamic Siphon. This is part of the seasonal artifacts on the first column. So in order for you to get this mod, you're going to want to activate Flame, Fiber, and Freeze for the seasonal artifact. This basically converts your solar and stasis siphon into one. The second mod I went with is Hands On to gain bonus super energy on melee kills. And lastly, for the third armor mod, you can change this if you like, but I went with Heavy Ammo Finder to increase the effect of all progress when it comes to filling up the heavy ammo meter. For the gauntlet, on the first mod, I went with Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blow will generate an orb of power, and the cooldown from this is 10 seconds. And the last two armor mods I went with is Melee Font. Here is the reason, but first let me explain what it does. Whenever you were to collect an armor charge, it will grant you increased melee stat. So I am running 2 stacks of these, so it's going to give me 50 melee stat boost as long as I have a armor charge. Okay, the only reason why I chose to put Melee Font is that at this current time, we can't be able to get tier 5 armor, so we're stuck with the basic old regular armor. I think we can go up to tier 3, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So that's why I ran a double Melee Font to increase my melee stat. So instead of it being 122, it is now going to be 172. And again, if we were to activate the origin trait for Callus Mini Tool, it is now going to be 192. But if you can reach up to 130 on your stat boost, you're going to be getting 200 on your stat. For the chest armor piece, I put arc resistance and solar resistance. You can change any of the resistance you like depending on what activity you're playing. And on the third mod, I went with solar ammo generation. This increases the ammo generation for solar weapons. And if you're thinking of like, what is the ammo generation? So if you were to pay attention to the bottom left of the screen, as what you're seeing here, I have special and heavy ammo. If you want to increase the progress for those bars, it's best to do it with a primary weapon, but you can do it with any weapon you like. For the leg armor, on the first mod, be sure to go for solar scavenger. You could also be able to decrease the cost for this solar scavenger in the seasonal artifacts as well, called Diviner's Discount. But if you are struggling on survivability, I do recommend going for better already. The next armor mod I went with is Solar Weapon Surge to increase my damage for my solar weapons. And lastly, for the leg armor mod I went with is Elemental Charge, because we are going to be getting a boatload of fire sprites. So by collecting a fire sprite, we would have a chance to generate an armor charge. And last, for the Titan Mark, be sure to go for Time Dilation to increase the duration for your armor charges. So instead of it being 10 seconds, it is now going to be 15 seconds. And for more quality of life when it comes to picking up your orbs of power, be sure to go for Powerful Attraction, because whenever you activate your class ability, it would collect nearby orbs of power. And by activating your class ability, you're going to be activating this other mod called Reaper. Shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow will spawn in an orb of power. So now that I'm done explaining this build, I just want to give you my general thoughts when it comes to this build. I just think this build is for the casual players that just want to have fun and just bonk everything with this build. This isn't really like a game-breaking meta like Storm's Keep last season. It's just a fun build. I really hope you did enjoy this video, and I would greatly appreciate it if you were to hit that like button and also subscribe. Again, if you guys would like to see a build on the new exotic for the Hunter and Warlock, there is a poll that is live right now, so be sure to check it out. And be sure to vote which one you'd like to see next. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope you guys are enjoying the grind for Edge of Fate. I sure I am. And lastly, the day 1 raid is coming out on Saturday, and if you guys would like to watch me live and suffer, I will stream this on YouTube. Actually, I am starting streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. You can choose any platform you like. I'll see you guys there, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.